That he who blesseth himself in the earth shall bless himself in the God of truth. And he that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the God of truth, because the former troubles are forgotten, and because they are hid from mine eyes. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit. They shall not plant, and another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord.
The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he's getting ready to set us up over and an earth. And just how he used Esau to take over the earth, what he called manifest destiny, he's going to use his men, the children of Israel, his elect, with his son Yahweh Shai, leading with our king, King David, 12, the whole house of David, all right? They going to take over the new world. They're going to take over the planet Earth and establish righteousness, just as Esau took over the earth and established wickedness. The children of Israel are going to take it over and establish righteousness. That's how this thing going to go, man.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the whole flick out there pushing his word and truth, and then sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, and what I want to get into today, dealing with all right, Esau, Edom, okay, the so-called white man that runs, all right, the planet Earth today, beginning with the elite bankers, all right, of Amalek, down to their underlings, all right, throughout these puppet governments, that they have set up in the earth, all right, and this is a very, hypocritic rulership, okay, we're going to go into the word hypocrite, all right, and I got a video to show you the hypocrisy of Esau, Edom, okay, and the devil, He runs the earth, by saying one thing and doing, all right, a complete another. Okay. The way that this man runs the work, the way that this man runs the earth, okay, is complete hypocrisy, man. Okay. He could be, the face, next to the definition of hypocrisy, man. Because he really embodies, being a hypocrite. Okay, the way that this man runs the earth. So let's get this precept. Okay, then get this word hypocrite and expound on it. Now, this is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Okay? So, from the beginning, what we have to understand, all these things were set up. So-called white man, he boasting, his technology, his IQ, he boasting this and that, as to why he's in power. No, you was predestined to be in power in this time for the sake of prophecy, okay, for the will of Yahweh Bashim Shah to play out. Okay, and within the Lord's will, it has this devil in prophecy right before the return of Yahweh Shah. That's why the prophecy say, Esau is the end of the world, all right, of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth after. Okay, so we know that Israel has an everlasting kingdom, all right, and in order for their kingdom of Israel to be ushered in, Esau will have to be in power. Okay, so this devil is in power, all right, because of prophecy. He rules right before Yahweh Shah comes and sets up an everlasting kingdom of righteousness forever in the earth. Okay, so this is why this devil is in power. Okay, there's nothing great about this nigga. Okay, he's just playing his role according to the will of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Okay, so before man was placed on earth, it was the will of the Lord, okay, to have the devil in power in this time. Okay. But it said what the triumphing of the wicked is short, because right now we're in Esau's triumph. He dominates the earth. He's been dominating the earth, for centuries, militarily, economically, his influence. Okay. He has came back, as the scriptures say, that deadly wound was healed. Okay. He has revived, all right, the Greco-Roman Empire back in the earth. Okay. And he's in the midst, okay, of a triumph, but the scriptures call his triumph short, because compared to the kingdom of Israel, every rulership of the heathen is short. Okay. And Esau is no different. Okay. Which he's the top heathen right now. You see? But the scriptures refer to him what? The joy of the hypocrite. You see? When the Bible, describes you, well, guess what? You fit that to a T. Okay. So the scriptures deem this man a hypocrite. Okay. And his triumph is for a moment. We're at the end of it. Okay. And this is why, he's been called out. All these charges, okay, are being brought against him. Why? Because he's going to be judged. Okay. So let's get this word hypocrite. All right. Let's deal with this word hypocrite. Let's go and add them online. All right. So what is a hypocrite? Okay. Hypocrite says a false pretender to virtue or religion. And there's no one, that's more of a hypocrite of the Bible than this nigga, man. Okay. His society is completely anti-Messiah, but he claims to be the biggest Christian, the biggest believer in the Bible. He claims America was founded on, biblical, values and traditions, man. Okay, so there's no one that acts like they're about the Bible, but is against the Bible more than anyone than Esau Edom. Okay, there's no nation on earth that's more anti-Messiah than Esau. Okay, but here it is, his presidents swearing on the Bible. Okay, so when it comes to, this hypocrite in this context, he fits this as well. As a pretender, a virtue or religion, this is him. He's this God fearing, this white Christian nationalism. It's just Edomites just want to, they're all about just being conservative and okay, they're all about these traditional values and they just want to live their lives and enjoy their families. Okay, when it's the complete opposite, man. These people are the most destructive nation on the planet Earth. Okay, the most destructive people, the most anti-Messiah people on the planet Earth, man. Okay, but they claim, that they just these, founders and defenders of Christianity, man. Okay, you got a sect of them, the small hats pretending to be us. Okay, but they do nothing that the Bible, all right, promotes. What the Bible promotes, they don't promote it in their society. Here it is, he has all this influence and power, high IQ and all this, but they push none of, all right, the standards of the scriptures. Okay, Esau could make the law of the Bible the law of the land and enforce it. You see, this devil could make the law of the Bible the law of the land and enforce it globally. Okay, he's been given that type of authority in the earth. You see, but he doesn't do that because he's not about the Bible. He's a hypocrite. He just acts. That's why the second definition is what a hypocrite. All right, from Greek hypocrites, a stage actor, a pretender. Okay, and his politics is all about him pretending. Okay, that's what politics is for him. Okay, it's just a stage for him to pretend on. Like they care about people, like they care about humanity, like they care about peace. Okay, like they care about stopping drugs, like they care about stopping the violence, like they care about people's health. Okay, his political system is nothing but a stage for this man to act on. Okay, that's why they say one thing. Okay, but it don't match what's happening in reality. Okay, well, they get up on stage and tell you and campaign for and promise and this and that. It doesn't match with their pattern of what's going on in reality, man. Okay, and the scriptures constantly call this man out. So let's get some more, since we know what a hypocrite is. All right, a damn actor. Okay, so let's go get a few more precepts, and then we'll get into the video. So let's go here because the Bible, when you go to the book of Psalms, chapter 50, okay? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 50, all right, in verse 16. It says, but unto the wicked, okay, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Okay, so the Bible calls this nigga out, man, because the wicked is Esau Edom. Okay, so the Bible, the Lord is like, who are you to try to declare my statutes? Nigga, you the wicked. Nigga, I created you be the wicked. What have you do to with righteousness? Okay, why are you pretending to be righteous? Okay, verse 17, seeing that thou hatest instruction and casting my words behind thee. Okay, this man hates all the instructions of the scriptures. Okay, here it is. He's trying to redo Genesis. Listen, think about this. He'll get on stage and tell you that he's this Christian, that he's trying to defend Christianity. Oh, we got to do something about the Christians in Nigeria. Oh, we got to make America Christian again. We got to do this and, yada, yada, yada. But then try to rewrite Genesis, try to re-engineer creation. Okay? But they just love, the Bible and Christianity and the values of the Bible. Okay? But he tries to undo everything in the scriptures. Okay? Even the simple relationship between woman and man, he caused confusion in that. Okay? What a man and what a woman is, he caused confusion in that. The simplicity of the Bible. This man disrupts and causes confusion, but then jump on stage as this big super Christian. Okay, a hypocrite, man. Okay, and it's been proven time after time that this man hates, okay, the instructions of righteousness, man. And it's in him to do the complete opposite, man. Okay, well, he's been running around the world pretending, okay, just being this hypocrite, man. Okay, so I want to go into this video, okay, quick video. Now, this whole thing was going on in Venezuela as if he's trying to stop, okay, like he's trying to protect the American people from narcotics, okay, and drugs, okay, and it's like, nigga, please, okay, and simpletons, all right, simple American people, all right, they look at what Trump is doing, like, oh, he's so brave and courageous, and he really cares. Finally somebody doing something about these cartels. Hell no, man. Okay, and what you Americans gonna find out the hard way that these super rich elites, they don't give a damn about you Americans, man. Okay, they finna make America a horror house. Okay, and they're constantly, all right, destroying, okay, you American people, man. Okay, you have the most poisonous food supply. All right, you have the most outrageous cost of living, the most outrageous taxes. Okay, the most violent society, the most domestic violent society on the earth. Okay, and you still think that these people jump on stage, tell you what they're gonna do, campaign, to your emotions. Okay, the nigga be lying. Okay, and he don't care. Okay, and you Americans finna find out the hard way. All right, that these, all right, higher up devils. Okay, they don't care. Okay, but so you have this guy Trump. Let's play this. Who pushing this, narrative. Okay, that what he's doing in Venezuela, blowing up, okay, speedboats. Okay, and how stupid do you gotta be? Okay, he's blowing up little speedboats. All right, those little speedboats ain't supplying. Okay, that's not America's drug supply. These few speedboats he done blew up coming out of Venezuela. Okay, but you still have simple goddamn Americans who gonna believe like, oh, Trump is making progress. He gonna stop all the drugs. Okay, how simple can you be? Well, let's play this, man.
Donald Trump keeps justifying the killing of more than 80 men on boats in the Caribbean, including 2 who were shipwrecked, as a way to save Americans from the deadly scourge of drugs. But then just this week, amidst this whole scandal, he pardoned a man who helped traffic more than 500 tons of cocaine into the U.S. Last year, the ex-president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, was convicted here in the U.S. for basically running his country like a narco state.
The jury returned its verdict after a 2-week trial, convicting Hernandez of taking bribes from El Chapo's, that's the Mexican drug lord Sinaloa cartel, and others, while he served as the president of Honduras from 2014 to 2022.
That bribe from El Chapo, by the way, was worth $1 million. Hernandez got 45 years in prison after prosecutors showed how, in exchange for cash and election help from drug cartels, he protected the drug traffickers from police, even steered government contracts, their shell companies, so they could launder their drug money. The U.S. has operation more than, quote, 500,000 kilograms of United States-bound cocaine. That's over 550 tons. He was also convicted of conspiring to use and carry machine guns and destructive devices during the cocaine importation conspiracy. And yet, he walked out of a West Virginia prison on Tuesday, thanks to Donald Trump. Even Republicans in Congress are pretty worked up about
this. Crazy work, man. Okay, 500 tons of cocaine under this Honduran president, who was pretty much a do boy for the cartel, and the cartel is a do boy for the CIA. Okay, the drug trafficking don't start and end with the cartel. No, the cartel is just one leg. Okay, of the drug trafficking. Okay, so here it is. He's pushing his narrative on. We're gonna stop the drugs. Really bad people. We're gonna kill them all. Stop the drugs. Might go to war with Venezuela. We might tell Congress about it. Not gonna end well.
How did this?
So here it is. He get on, and he's an actor. Okay, a nigga is an actor, man. Clown at best. Talking about Donald Trump, aka Nero. Okay, but this is just how Esau operates, man. This is what all these devils do, man. Okay, especially those at the top, man. Okay, so here it is. He let a man walk. Okay, who was responsible for allowing 500 tons of cocaine to come through to America. Okay, it's just a hypocrite. They be pretending. Nobody sells more drugs. Okay, he pretends like he's against drugs. No one sells more drugs than Esau. He pretends like he's against war. Nobody starts more wars than Esau. Okay, he pretends, all right, as if he's about people's health. No one poisons the masses more than Esau. Okay, you see, like he want to stop the violence. No one is more violent than Esau. Okay, he just be acting. Okay, when you get on TV with these suits and these promises, that nigga is acting. Okay, they pretend like it's all about the children, the kids, the children. Okay, no one harms children more than Esau. No one is a bigger threat to children than Esau Edom. Okay, so let's just play some more.
Convicted drug dealer end up on Donald Trump's radar? Well, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal, it was put there by insiders, including Roger Stone, who famously got his own Trump pardon after 7 felony convictions for lying in the Russia probe, and former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who also reportedly sought a pardon from Trump when he's being investigated by the FBI for alleged sex trafficking of an underage girl. The New York Times subsequently reporting the sex work she was doing was so that she could save money for braces. Gaetz denies any wrongdoing, though a health ethics report found, quote, substantial evidence he used cocaine, ecstasy, and marijuana and engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl. But both Gaetz and Stone say they got no compensation to lobby for Hernandez's pardon. It was just a good deed. On Tuesday, a former DEA agent who worked on the case told the Washington Post Hernandez's release was devastating. He said, quote, "It means any attempt to work your investigations to the highest levels is meaningless." Liz Oyer served as the pardon attorney in Trump's Department of Justice until she was fired in March this year after she refused to, and I'm not making this up, reinstate actor Mel Gibson's gun rights. David Rode is a national security reporter for MS Now, and they joined me. Liz, I guess I'll start with you as someone who worked as a pardon attorney at DOJ. Did you ever, in your time there, have you ever seen a pardon of this magnitude of someone convicted of something so enormous and so sort of obviously politically toxic ever?
Absolutely not, Chris. I mean, this is a pardon that on its face should not have been granted. It's a case that is not appropriate for a pardon under any one of the many criteria that the Justice Department has in place for considering pardons. Just the scope of the crime in and of itself would be disqualifying under literally any other presidential administration. But take that together with the fact that this person was just sentenced a year ago, has served almost none of his sentence, was the president of a foreign country. It's just so inappropriate for clemency on so many different levels that it is really quite shocking.
I want to play for you, David, what Chris Coons said about this pardon. Take a listen.
If President Trump can pardon a convicted narco-terrorist trafficker, how does this campaign where we are targeting and killing folks on the open ocean to prevent their trafficking of drugs anywhere, how is that legitimate?
There's got to be a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill saying the same thing, right?
Yes. I just met with a staffer for one, and they said this is what's so infuriating to them is that this broad policy just doesn't make, whether it's the pardon, but also the attacks in the Caribbean, which is on cocaine that's actually headed towards Europe. Yet you're pardoning the president of Honduras, who allowed 500 tons of cocaine bound for the United States. The fentanyl comes in through Mexico. So they almost said the policy was what's so frustrating. And some of them have gone public. There was just a National Review story that had Tom Tillis saying that this is maddening, just talked about how terrible the optics of this pardon was. Susan Collins as well. And there's several others who were Senator Kennedy also. So earlier, Representative Smith was talking about, there is a sliver of a chance that some Republicans might want to bring some oversight regarding these boat strikes and this entire policy. And so there's that critical mass. They sort of see themselves as Reagan traditionalists in the national security sense.
because I got something else I want to pull up, but it's a joke. All right. And if you're a part, the government, law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and you're thinking you're seriously stopping, crime. All right. You're risking your life, fighting these drug cartels. Okay. Only to see, these kingpins get pardoned. Okay. And then they say the drugs from Venezuela is going to Europe. Okay. Most of the drugs from Venezuela go to Europe. Okay. Now, let's go here because I just asked, list of countries by rank that traffic the most drugs to America. Okay. And the fact that they got a list let you know that it's controlled. You see, the fact that they got the list, let you know this is controlled, man. Okay. So let's just go to the list. All right. Number one country, Mexico. Okay. Mexico, major source, and transit country for heroin, methamphetamine, marijuana, and primary transit hub for cocaine coming from South America. All right. So most of the drugs coming through South America comes through Mexico, right there on the border. Okay. And it's allowed to come in. Now, Mexico. Now, real quick, we're going to go back to this list. Who is the president of Mexico? Let's look at that. Surprise, surprise. All right. As is the Mexican president Jewish? Okay. Yes, the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, all right, is Jewish. Small hat. Number one trafficking country to America. And guess what the president is? Small hat. You see? The usual suspect. They mock Jake, the nigga woman cutting up in, the the Chick-fil-A line of, what they say, the usual suspects. Well, niggas are a problem. Okay, but they're nowhere near the problem of you goddamn Edomites. Okay, and the niggas are a byproduct of Edomites. Okay, a nigga and the nigga woman, is a Frankenstein of Esau Edom. Okay, but when you go into global major crimes of the earth, the usual suspect, the small hats are always right on the scene. Okay, it says she is the first person, of Jewish heritage to hold the office and is also Mexico's first female president. While she has a Jewish background, she has described herself as being raised in a secular household and not being religiously affiliated, I bet. Okay. And that would be the thing to say. All right. But you see, okay, just how these devils get down. Okay. So let's go back to the chat. Okay, Mexico number one. Number two, Colombia, the principal source country for cocaine seized in the U.S. Okay, so why is there no talk of invading Colombia? Bolivia, number three, one of the major coca producing countries in South America, together with Colombia and Peru, contributed to supply of cocaine. Peru, number four, also a major coca producing country, contributing to cocaine supply, often transit. All right, transiting via other countries before reaching U.S. A major, all right, China, okay, China number five, a major producer exporter of precursor chemicals used in synthetic drugs, notably fentanyl, which often end up trafficked into the U.S. via transit through Mexico and Canada, right there on the border. Most fentanyl comes through Mexico and Canada. Okay, Caribbean and Central American. Okay, Jamaica, various Central American nations. All right, so Venezuela is not even singled out. Okay, when it comes to drug trafficking to America. So why is this such? Why is that the narrative, or why the niggas just blowing boats up? And mainly that's a political thing dealing with Russia and China. Because Russia and China, has ties with Venezuela. Russia even has military hardware in Venezuela. Okay, so ultimately you see them doing these attacks, as a statement to Russia, to get out of America's backyard. Okay, it has nothing to do with drug trafficking. All right, it really doesn't have nothing to do with oil, because America can't refine Venezuelan oil, but Russia can. And Russia can help Venezuela sell its oil, okay, under Russian oil companies, okay, which brings in, GDP to the country of Venezuela, okay. But it's more of a thing of America just trying to send shots at Russia, to get out their backyard, Russia and China, which Russia and China ain't budging, okay. And you see, Trump ain't invaded yet, okay. you know, you see that nigga ain't invaded yet, okay. So also this too, I got this on here too, because remember, okay, Trump was sending, ICE and federal agents to stop crime in these, okay, mainly, Jake, all right, which these niggas are a problem, but nigga, a nigga is a byproduct, okay, of Edomite enchantments, okay. Now, when I asked you this, I said rappers pardoned by Donald Trump. Remember, Trump was the hero. Oh, we can walk around Memphis and we can hang out now. The kids can come out and play. We can be out in, Chicago safer now. Washington, D.C. is safer now. Okay. So it's just, oh, man, appreciate Donald Trump, But then let's see who Donald Trump pardoned. It said, here are some of the most prominent rappers and hip hop artists who have been pardoned or had their sentences commuted by Donald J. Trump: Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, NBA Youngboy. Okay, and when you jump down, okay, I say you got Lil Wayne. Okay, then you got Kodak Black. Okay, convicted of federal weapon charges, false statements to acquire firearms. Okay, full pardon. Okay. Michael Harry O. Harris, okay, co-founder of legendary label Death Row Records. And this who Trump pardoned, serving 25 to life, okay, for drug trafficking, Okay, for drug trafficking and conspiracy, attempted murder. Okay, NBA young boy convicted on gun possession charge. And what do they when they released him? Then because I think he was on probation, but he dropped that too. They said the conviction was clear and prior probation restriction lifted. That's why he was able to go on tour, on this demonic tour that he's on. Okay, but I thought they was against, the violence and the gun violence and this and that. I thought they was against crime. All right, but they released all the criminals. Nigga released Harry O. you know, Kodak Black. Okay, NBA young boy, man. You see? So these niggas are hypocrites, man. Okay? They get on stage and niggas be lying, man. Esau, all right, is the problem of the earth, man. Let's go there. Okay? And Yahweh Shah coming to deal, okay, with the problem of the earth. Matter of fact, let's get this in Psalms, and then we'll get that. So let's get this in the book of Psalms. Boy, y'all Uncle Tough out here in these streets, man. This Psalms 140 and one of them read this in the AMP. Psalms 141, it says, "Rescue me, O Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shah, from evil men. Protect me from violent men." Okay? And there's no one that's more violent than Esau. Okay? This is his first option. All right? This man has peacekeeping troops. Okay? How is it your first response? Okay? To try to achieve peace is to send troops. You see? Then, he's Trump is the peace. Trump promising he's gonna be the peacetime president. No. Okay, you're an Edomite. All you know how to do is go to war. Okay, that's why scriptures say they devise evil things in their hearts and their mind. They continually gather together and stir up wars. Okay, this whole Trump, he's gonna broker a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine. America started the war with Russia and Ukraine. The reason why Ukraine can go to war with Russia is because of America hardware, military hardware. You see? The small hats in Hamas. America is the reason why the small hats, are able to run amok over there in the Middle East. Okay? Because they have American backing, man. Okay? They do nothing, for peace. Okay? When they get on camera like they're just, working, around the clock trying to figure out peace. Okay? No, man, they continually, as the scriptures say, gather together, and stir up wars, man. Let's go to this word, devise. Okay? Devise, which is hashab. All right? Hashab is kashab in Hebrew, which is to think, to plan, to calculate. That's all these devils do. Calculate wickedness. Okay? Experiment on people through the foods and the the peaceutical industry. Okay? They prescribe, the pills in the bottle. Okay, they always inventing some type of new this and new that to destroy. All right. Remember, this man was created to take peace from the earth. It says to think upon, to consider, to think, to devise a plan. That's all this man does. Okay, is think upon wickedness, man. Okay. So here it is. He has you thinking that, he's losing sleep, because the world is not at peace. okay, or he's losing sleep trying to figure out, how to, improve people health, to improve the economy, to redistribute wealth. And, he's thinking that he's losing sleep thinking about these things. No, he's losing sleep trying to figure out more evil to do. Okay? Proverbs 4:16, the A and P. For the wicked cannot sleep unless they do evil. Okay? But he puts it to you like he's just working tirelessly around the clock. Okay, trying to figure out peace on the earth, trying to figure out how how to feed the hungry. What he says, it's a war on poverty, it's a war on drugs. No, you create the poverty. Okay, you traffic the drugs. Okay, this nigga be lying, man. All right, he said, for the wicked cannot sleep unless they do evil, and they are deprived of sleep unless they make someone stumble and fall, man. Okay, so this man is not here to help anyone. Okay, this man gets pleasure, okay, out of war, chaos, destruction, deception, confusion. Okay, this man gets a kick out of these things, man. Okay, this is just how this man is wired. Okay, the Lord not gonna get rid of this nigga for nothing after his 1,000 years of captivity, man. This nigga ain't meant to be free and just roaming around the earth, man. Okay, he for damn sure ain't meant to be in power. You see? That's why what the scripture say, no flesh shall make it, man. Okay? This man will run existence to the ground, still pretending like he has everyone's best interest in mind. Okay? Let's go here to the book of Sirach. I say we'll end it here, And this is what Yahweh Shai, this is why we await, okay, the return of our righteous king. Okay, Yahweh Shai to set things aright, man. And this is the nigga that Jake won on the chariot, man. Okay, what the hell is wrong with you niggas, man? All right. So let's go here. This is Sirach 10:10. It said the physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king tomorrow shall die. Okay. So Esau is a disease that's plaguing the earth with violence, poverty, okay, confusion, corruption. Okay. And Yahweh Shai is coming to cut that off, and it begins with cutting off his power. All right, his ability to influence and terrorize the earth. Okay, and then eventually you're gonna be cut off as a people, man, out of here. Okay, so that's the point. Just want to get into that, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again, and give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, rule well, teach well, being examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully, shalom.